Change. Life is all about change. You can't stay the same forever. Without growth, what's the point of living? Music, an essential part of every video game, one that can bring us so many different emotions. But what happens when these two concepts come together? Something absolutely beautiful that proves the artistry of this medium. My name is SmashMax, and today we're going to be talking about adaptive music. There's one major aspect that video games have over other forms of media, and that's the sheer amount of immersion that they can emphasize. The big appeal of video games is that they're interactive. You're in control. You're the one who's moving the story forward. You're the one who's making things happen. Games have the ability to make you feel like you're right there in the world, not just viewing it through a TV screen. I have no goddamn clue what that says about Balls 3D. And you're probably sitting here like, God, Wyatt, just get to the point already. You're gonna ruin your retention. Alright, I hear ya. Boom! How about that? I know you like that. Now, what is adaptive music, I hear you asking, and what does it have to do with anything that you just said? Alright, come on. We're going back to the first historical event that truly matters. The creation of Super Mario Brothers. Picture this, you're a fucking idiot who sucks at the game, and you're taking your sweet-ass time on World 1-1. The overworld theme from this game is definitely a bop, so I can't blame you if you want to just stop and smell the roses for a little bit. Except the roses are poisoned! Suddenly, the song's tempo increases drastically as you start running for your life. It's the same melody that you were listening to before, but now it has such a sense of urgency as you're about to die. This doesn't even make any sense. What happens if I run out of time? Does Miyamoto pop out of the fucking warp pipe and shoot him? Hopefully that gave you the gist of what we're talking about here. Adaptive music, also known as dynamic music, is when the music in the game changes as a result of the things happening around you, or as a result of your own actions. There's so many different ways this can be done too. There's vertical techniques, horizontal techniques, you can fade seamlessly from one track to another. But that's getting super technical though, nerd! Yes, I am! We're just here to talk about how it makes you feel. Alright, let me ask you a question. You ever seen a bear? Not that one. Banjo-Kazooie is one of my all-time favorite platformers, even games, honestly, and it's kind of a miracle that I haven't talked about it before. The hell just happened? What the hell is that?
Number 5, Banjo-Kazooie.
No! Banjo-Kazooie's soundtrack just oozes all of that rare magic that we've come to know and love over the years until we didn't, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. I can speak English, I swear. I mean, Grant Kirkhope really cooked on this one. Look, this is him and Family Jewels shredding on the guitar. Tell me with a straight face this isn't the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen. This game really is one of the best uses of adaptive music that I've ever seen, and there's so much of it too. Like, if you look at the game's soundtrack, there's like a bajillion tracks for each level because it switches up so often. I mean, from the get-go, doing something as simple as crossing the bridge from Spiral Mountain to Gruntilda's lair changes the music to a very sinister version of Spiral Mountain's theme, and it's a damn shame that you only get to hear this track for like 5 seconds. Alright, let's take a look at Mumbo's Mountain. And then you walk on over here to where this monkey is throwing oranges around, and the music becomes more menacing. It has some very Donkey Kong-like drums, and I think I'm stereotyping right now, I'm gonna get canceled. Treasure Trove Cove's theme is an absolute vibe. And then you walk on over to where Blubber is, and we love Blubber in this house. The music changes to have a more pirate aesthetic, and Rare loves their pirates. And one of the best examples in this game is the underwater music, because every single level has a unique underwater version of its theme, and that is so much dedication. Here's the underwater version of Clanker Cavern's theme, for example. The theme starts to sound more clouded and faint, almost as if you were really underwater and were hearing the music in the distance. The Freeze Easy Peak theme is super iconic in my opinion. My favorite use of adaptive music here is when you enter Boggy's igloo, because the music becomes so sad and depressing because this guy is a bad parent who's out doing sled races instead of buying Christmas gifts for his kids. Whenever you reach the entrance to one of the levels in Gruntilda's lair, the music changes to reflect how that level sounds, basically giving you a preview of what you can expect to hear in the upcoming level. For example, here's the Treasure Trove Go version. And you gotta love how these songs transition so cleanly. I mean, that's what makes it adaptive. They're so seamless. And I know I said I wouldn't get all technical on you and stuff, but come on. Aren't you at least a little bit curious about how it all works? Take it away, Grant!
Hey Wyatt, so adaptive music. So when we're doing Banjo-Kazooie, we really love the music in Secret Monkey Island, the LucasArts game, and that used that iMuse system. It was FM synthesis then, so not samples, but it morphed as you wandered about, right? It would change the, you know, like Banjo-Kazooie does, it would change the I can't think of the word I'm looking for, the melody, the arrangement to suit wherever you're going, but keep the same thing, just change the arrangement, right? So I was told that, you know, it wouldn't be great if we could do that, so I had to kind of work out a way to do it. So the way that we did it, or I did it, was you get a MIDI file that's got 16 channels, right? So I would find out from the game designer, Greg Mills, how many areas in the level would be different, like, you know, this area, that area, whatever. And then I'd allocate channels in the MIDI file to the area. So 4 channels for that area, 3 channels for that area, whatever, you know, just try and, you know, you've got 16 channels. And then, you know, so, and then would crossfade between, you know, let's say the first area is channels 1, 2, 3, 4, second area is channels 5 and 6. When you wander to the second area, we used to draw circles under the level, under the floor, that you couldn't see, but when Banjo crossed that barrier, it would trigger the game to fade down channels 1, 2, 3, 4 and fade up channels 5 and 6, and that's how it worked like that. So it isn't really very complicated. It just when you think about it, it's like, oh my god, how can you do it? But it's that was it, really. We just used to do it that way.
Now that was totally poggers. You know what else is totally poggers? Guns. Joe, take the wheel.
I'm typically not a fan of FPS games. Doom, however...
Yeah, I like this.
The gameplay, the enemies, the guns, all of it screams Doom! And it hits me harder than my dad. But the greatest vibe contributor has to be the music. All of the music has been constructed by Mick Gordon, the musical mastermind behind such classics as Nicktoons' Attack of the Toybots and Hot Dog King. I mean, with that kind of portfolio, you know this guy is the one for Doom. But I'm not here to tell you how good Doom's music is. You already know that, right, Smash Max?
Yeah. Wait, I'm not Smash Max. Where am I? What is this? Who are you? What's going on?
So with that, I want to talk about how Doom's music is. Basically, in Doom Hell, energy is what makes all the things work, like in this pillar. So our boy Mickey G thought, what would this energy sound like? And so, through the help of degraded amps and actual chainsaws, we got the signature sound of Doom 2016. But how is that adaptive, you think to yourself watching this video about adaptive music in video games? Well, most of the riffs, choruses, verses, etc. were performed multiple different times. This is so that in-game, those different variations can swap on the fly and create music that adapts to the player's inputs. These inputs include what you're shooting, how you're shooting, when you're shooting, how many enemies are there, what time is it, what did you eat for breakfast, how many X's do you have, you know, that kind of stuff. And I think that's pretty cool. What did you want me to say? Smash Max only gave me 2 minutes to talk about this crap.
Pokemon Black and White. This is where humanity peaked. Oh god, no, go back! And now that I successfully alienated all Scarlet and Violet fans from the audience, let's continue! These games are actually the ones that gave me the idea to make this video in the first place, because there's just so much going on here. For example, something I noticed when I replayed the game a few years ago is that the drums don't kick in on the routes until you start running. They're not there if you just stand still.
I think that's a really nice touch that makes your journey feel all the more triumphant as you're moving forward. Ignore the Jack Johnson in the background. I like Curious George, okay?
I'm a bit hesitant to share this, but the moment I actually noticed this was in an old Let's Play I did, which I'll share for you here.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon White version. I'd never noticed that. Whoa! The drums kick in when you start walking.
What?
God, I love dynamic music.
Hey, old boy. Want some candy?
And if you want to talk immersion in terms of music, then this game's got it in spades. There's so many examples of instruments being played in-universe that add to the music that you're currently hearing. In Accumula Town, for example, the song is pretty basic at first.
Doesn't mean it's not a vibe, though.
Hello?
Man, why are you so cringe?
Yes, I know my hair looks different and I'm wearing a different shirt.
But then you enter this building and find a girl on the piano and a boy on the drums. If you speak to them, then their respective instruments are added to the song, making it truly complete. I love that NPCs are playing the music that you're hearing in the game, and that gets you more invested in it. It's no longer just a background element in your mind, you're actively thinking about it. In Nakreen City, you can speak to this NPC to add an accordion to the song, and oh, it's so good. I always love a good accordion, man. Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Oh god, what's happening to him?
He's been inflicted with pink!
In Anvil Town, which has one of my favorite Pokemon themes, by the way, you can talk to this fella over here to add some flute to the music. I love flute. Well, flute your mom. And in Opelucid City, a guy will play either a guitar or an eru, which is a Chinese fiddle thing. I'll put it on screen over here, depending on the version, and can I just say that this is one of my favorite version differences ever. In Pokemon Black, Opelucid City is super futuristic looking as synthy music plays in the background, but then in Pokemon White, it's a very antique, traditional town, one with clearly a lot of history behind it, and the music reflects this. I much prefer the White version myself, but no hard feelings if you prefer the Black one. I could go on and on about these games forever, but unless you want a 2-hour retrospective on Pokemon Black and White, please stop me now. Oh, what's that? You do want that? Okay then. Pokemon Black and White is an absolute masterpiece. All gameplay-wise, I mean, I truly think if we study this for long enough, we could find a cure for cancer. And now we hit the part of the script where I had writer's block. I mean, it took me forever to think about what to talk about next. So I won't. My friend Siamecat wants to talk about Wii Sports Resort. And you better listen.
Hello, I'm Siamecat. I'm just doing my civic duty as a gamer and talking about the best video game ever made, Wii Sports Resort. Cycling is one of my favorite sports in the game, and its music changes a bit depending on what you're doing. Here's the normal version. Here's the version that you only hear if you're bad. And the version that plays in the last stretch is incredible. It feels so climactic and epic. The attention to detail in even the music is one of the many reasons Wii Sports Resort is a masterpiece.
You're not supposed to be back yet. MeMelon, distract them.
Portal
2 is one of my favorite games of all time for so many reasons. There's the great stuff we've heard before, the finely crafted puzzles, witty dialogue, the Cave Johnson lemon rant.
I don't want your damn lemons! What am I supposed to do with these?
Yeah, take the lemons.
It is a classic. But what stands out the most for me is its utilization of dynamic music. And although it's just pleasant to hear at first, you'll find Portal 2's music is so much more nuanced and layered after a closer examination, aka one of those casual 4-hour YouTube retrospectives. Each level has a unique music track with distinct layers that build and add on top of each other based off your speed, momentum, and sometimes even the very objects you've picked up. That's right, you're not going crazy. The music is being generated from the very lasers itself here. Although if you're hearing something else, help me. Yep, can't help you. Overall, Portal 2's dynamic music is just one of the many amazing aspects of this game, right behind that Cave Johnson lemon rant.
I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down!
Classic.
Oh god, what do I talk about now? I'm so lost, I'm so clueless. Dynamically changing music has been a staple of the Mario series for a long ass time, but I'd be willing to bet that there's one example that sticks out to you above the rest. Super Mario World introduced the character of Yoshi, and how could you not love him? Don't be a dino-phobe, Luigi. It takes all colors to make a rainbow. As you're likely aware, when you start riding Yoshi, it adds drums to the music you're hearing. Sounds like bongos specifically. It kinda adds to the primitive nature of Dinosaur Land, if you ask me. I remember as a kid I asked my mom why Yoshi wears shoes, and she was like, yeah, so his feet don't get hot running on the ground. Yeah, that's right, my mom works at Nintendo, yep, yep. And the coolest part about this is that it continues throughout the entire Super Mario series. If there's Yoshi, there's drums. Mario Sunshine, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Galaxy 2, and Galaxy 2 in particular is really cool because it's not always just bongos. In Haunty Hall's Galaxy, it adds what sounds to be a tambourine, in Sweet Mystery Galaxy, it adds maracas, and in Bowser's Galaxy Reactor, it adds like a timpani or something? I don't know, but it makes it so much more epic. Go off, Yoshi! New Super Mario Bros. U does something really cool with the world map music. It's the same melody for every world, but as you leave one world and enter the next, the music changes to include different instruments that fit the world's theme, while it's the same melody. I just talked positively about New Super Mario Bros. I'm gonna serve 25 to life. Another notable example is the rolling ball levels from Mario Galaxy. The tempo of the music increases the faster the ball rolls, and it's a really chaotic feeling. There are no brakes on this thing. It's pretty difficult to control, and this music change reflects this. And one of the coolest things about Mario Odyssey to me, aside from like literally everything, is the little 8-bit sections in the game where you transform into 2D Mario and get to do a little bit of side-scrolling. It kinda reminds me of a Link Between Worlds in a sense. But the best part is that when you enter these 8-bit areas, the music seamlessly transitions into an 8-bit version of the level's theme. Like there's literally an 8-bit version for every single level in the game. The amount of thought and precision that went into this is astounding. And this extends to the spin-off games as well. Mount Wario from Mario Kart 8 has some really awesome dynamic music. This is one of those super long tracks split into 3 laps rather than going in a circle for 3 laps, and the music changes depending on the part of the track that you're in. Alright, that's enough Mario. I've gotta prove that I'm not a normie.
Come on, guys, I'm cultured, I swear. I'm not just a Nintendo fan.
Adios, asshole.
I have been replaying Night in the Woods lately. It's always been a game that I'm really fond of. The art style is so endearing, and the characters are so realistic too. It's definitely a character-driven game. Which is why we're talking about the music. Throughout the game, May has these little dream sections that are very symbolic of the game's events and themes, and there's these little musician dudes hanging around who you have to go interact with to progress. So the music goes from this, to this, to eventually this. And you know what? I didn't say a thing about other people talking about Nintendo games. Smells like Drewdan.
Hello, it's me, the plant guy.
I absolutely adore the Pikmin franchise, and one of my favorite parts about it is the music. On its own, the music is already great. It's atmospheric, beautiful, eerie, but my favorite aspect of it is how it can change on a dime depending on what you might be doing. There are countless instances of this kind of dynamic music from throughout the series, but the standout to me that I always think back to first is without a doubt the boss theme from Pikmin 3. The boss fights in of themselves can be pretty dynamic in this game, and the music just adds to that feeling tenfold because it's constantly changing as the fight evolves. You have a little jingle that plays at the beginning of the fight to start things off, and the main portion of the song which helps to build tension and anticipation for when either you or your enemy decides to make a move. And oh damn, speaking of, it looks like the Alaskan bullworm is starting to attack! Johnny, go crazy on that boot! Johnny stepped on a Pikmin. And when it's your turn to retaliate, it is nothing but pure upbeat triumph. It's not so much about there being multiple parts to this song that play in certain scenarios that make it so great, but rather the fact that they all flow into one another so seamlessly. This is one of the standout songs in this game for me, easily. Just like the game itself, it is absolutely fantastic. And if I had the time, I would be going into the dynamic music of the Behemoth Fozbat fight because holy shit! And with that, I'll take my leave.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is a game that I really like. Yes, it's my fault that we got Byleth in Smash Ultimate instead of Dante. Sue me!
What the hell is this?
Now, adaptive music isn't exclusive to this game in the series, but this one has some non-stop bangers, so I had to talk about it. When you're out on the field planning your next move, the regular version of the map's music plays, or the rain version as the game refers to it. Let's listen to Chasing Daybreak, for example. Absolutely beautiful song. It's so epic, but also kind of bittersweet for reasons that would be obvious if you play the game. Which I know you're not going to. You don't have to. Stop lying to me! This is the Thunder version of the track. You can hear that the melody becomes way more subdued and the percussion completely takes over the song. It really feels like you're charging headfirst into battle. This is the museum. Yes, I have to explain this to you, because if you're watching my video, then you're a sweaty gamer who doesn't leave your room. The museum is filled with so many different exhibits that you can submit your findings to. Fish, insects, fossils, kidneys. When you go through the different sections of the museum, the music changes as a result, and I think that's really cool. Do you love terrorizing the United States? As a Goose, Untitled Goose Game is such a goofy game. Your main goal is to make this guy's life a miserable hell, paired with the good old music by Claude the Bussy. That's right, Claude the Bussy. No other way this could be pronounced, Claude the Bussy. And this is a really interesting approach to adaptive music, because one, it's using it to create comedy, and two, it's using already existing pieces, and I think that's just pretty neat. Alright, now I'm like actually out of things to talk about, so Goast, talk about Zelda, because I've only played like 2 Zelda games.
Alright, let's talk giant open fields. Hyrule Field is a moderately famous spot from the Zelda universe, and of course it's famous. It's where all the franchise's nothing happens. Because more often than not, there's nothing to do in it. This sentiment rings most true in Ocarina of Time, where the field looks about as exciting to explore as a Walmart parking lot. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. There's more to this place than meets the eye. See, Hyrule Field is home to an adaptive soundtrack of its very own, one that changes to reflect what the player is doing at any given moment. When you first enter the area, the music is all like... Then when you start walking, or horse riding, or whatever, this bold, adventurous rendition of the Zelda theme begins playing. But if you slow down or stop to look at something, the music softens. It drops a few instruments and makes the song more laid back, transitioning back into an adventurous tone once you start moving again. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the music will add in a hint of evil once an enemy is on your ass, giving you a backdrop for combat. It's subtle, but it's such a cool detail. It makes every moment spent here feel much more cinematic, and I think that's really cool, and I like it. And I don't like you. Fuck you.
JoeFilms. Musicals are a popular genre of film and stage plays where a lot, if not all, of the plot and characters' emotions is conveyed through song rather than just dialogue. This is a really good way for the story to resonate with audiences and lots of key moments be very memorable by way of it being a really good song, but you can't really do any of this in a video game, because in a video game, the entire nature of the medium is for it to be adaptive. Doing a video game as a musical is just not possible. There's too much that would have to go into it, too many very specific elements, way too much effort, and it's not feasible, and it's never gonna be done. Or at least until the fall of 2023, when Austin Wintory came along and said, "Hold my beer." Now the way this works is that each musical number is divided into segments, and at the end of each segment you can make a choice that will change the story going forward, and furthermore, change the course of the song. That doesn't sound too bad, doesn't sound too terribly complicated, until you look at the maps of how these songs are actually laid out. This is a map of one singular song from Stray Gods. Can you even tell what's going on here? Because I practically can't. What they did to get this to work is record different variations of each individual song for each of the choices you can make. You start each song with one segment, and that can lead to 3 new possible segments. Those can lead to 3 new possible segments. This segment might go over here, and this segment might wind up over here depending on the choices you make throughout the song. And it just builds and builds and builds and gets bigger and bigger until it's this massive spider web of interconnected music systems that honestly I can hardly even decipher. In short, this game is awesome and I've never seen anything like it, and you should give it a play.
Adaptive music is a mirror. Just as these songs change to match the ebb and flow of the game, so too do we as people change. We make mistakes, and that's what makes us human. You've got to start somewhere. People grow at different rates. The scenes that define our lives present themselves at a different point for each and every one of us, and that's okay. Am I a good person? No, probably not, but I don't have to be. Not yet. Change is gradual, evolving ever parallel to those around us. Maybe you haven't met face to face with yourself just yet. Maybe you haven't accepted all you are and all it is that you want to become. And that's perfectly alright. Take your time, because life waits for you. These soundtracks expand further and further as you take action in the game, but these actions can only occur on your own behalf. You have to take that first step. So go out there and do it.
It's the good memories that stay with you and gets people through their struggles. But it's also the mistakes you made that haunt you forever. I'm the one who chose to join you back then. I didn't know what I was capable of. That's all there is to it. I gotta use what time I have left to set things straight. I don't have the luxury of doing anything else.